Hi everyone, my name is Thomas. I'm here from Microsoft to go through some Office with you guys today. Today we will be looking at Office 365 Business Premium, and we will also be looking at Office 2019, just to get you guys the latest updates on what's happening in Office land. We will be talking about some of the key things to talk about with your customers, features, and things that brings a lot of value to customers all up. So first, I would like to start with just having a look at Office in general. So let's have a look at State of the Union. Like, I know we had State of the Union yesterday in the States, but let's have it for Office right now. October 13th, 2020. We have a really big date coming up here because we are ending support for Office 2010. And what does that mean? Well, that actually means that Office users that are using Office 2010, and we have almost 1 million of them active right now, will be without support on the new update, on new security updates, etc. So it's quite important to get that chat out there, and it's a really big opportunity for you guys to sell even more Office to a large portion of customers out there. So I just wanted to talk about why is it actually important to recommend Office to you when you're talking with a customer. Because we did a few surveys, and crazily enough, this is across both SMB, this is mostly of retail, but I'm not sure that this won't be the same when looking at business customers as well. Because 80% of customers, only after they purchase the device, actually are aware that Office is not included when buying a PC. So that's quite important to get that conversation up and running. And also just mentioning that Office is not included, you could get into the conversation about what Office then they're using. It could be that they're using Office 2010. Then you have a really good talk here where end of support is coming. So it's a really good way into making sure that you get as much added to your basket as possible when it comes to selling PCs with Office. Why do you then need to know how to recommend Office? Because it's all good and well to recommend Office and saying, well, Office is really great for you. But again, we did a little survey, and there's some numbers that I think is really, really exciting to look at and really eye-opening. So, of active Office users, 50% are actually not aware that their Office 365 subscription can be used on multiple devices. So they probably installed it on their PC, but they don't know that they can use that on their phone, their tablet, anything goes. So it is kind of important to get them aware that you're not only getting Office for one product by buying a 365 subscription, you can use it on multiple things. Then we have actually a whopping 61% of our active Office users. They don't know that they have 1 terabyte of OneDrive cloud storage included in their subscription. I see that we have a big job here on our side to get that messaging out, because that's a lot of people that are unaware of what they're actually paying for with Office. But the cool thing about having OneDrive is, of course, if you install Office on multiple devices, then you want your documents on multiple devices. That's where OneDrive steps in. And of course, you can install OneDrive on your phone, use that as your cloud storage for all your photos. You don't have to pay for extra cloud storage elsewhere. Have that included in your package of your Office package. And we have a whopping 65% that are not aware that Office can be shared between users. Of course, here we're thinking or looking at Office 365 home users, where if they buy that, they can use that across the board for the whole family. So they don't have to buy a single Office for every single member of the family. So it is quite important to keep that in mind. Why then always recommend Office? Well, one, we believe that every customer needs Office somehow. They might not be a power user in Excel, PowerPoint, or Word, but just looking at OneDrive as a value proposition, it's also quite good to use that and have that backup. Office is easy to use. Well, it doesn't matter. Like looking back at Office 2010, 2013, 2016, everything changed a little bit when looking at the user end of it. So what we've done, we've added this tell me feature. It's just pressing Alt and Q, and then you can write what you want to write. So you don't have to look for things, just write what you want to do, and Office finds that feature for you. It's probably the feature I use the most, to be quite honest, in Office, because even setting up how my auto reply, just start writing auto AUT, and then it shows up, so I don't have to spend time looking for where I put it. And of course, the 1 TB of cloud storage, which gives you a lot of advantages. It has built-in ransomware protection, an extra layer of protection with personal vault, so all your data is extra secure. So let's talk about some of the new things in Office. Because we have two types of Office. We have the subscription-based one, Office 365, and the Office 2019 for the life of your PC. And we, of course, have a different setup of features within Office on these two models. Some of them are the same, but you get more with 365. So looking at Office 365 subscriptions, well, we have 3 different SKUs that you can sell. We have for SMB, we have Office 365 Business Premium, 12 months payment upfront, then you're up and running. We have the consumer side, personal and home, personal for 1 user and home for 6 users, 12-month subscription, payment upfront, again, up and running. Looking at the comparisons between these 3 products, well, what they have in common is that you get these premium Office apps when you buy a 365. It doesn't really matter what type of 365 subscription you use. You get the premium Office apps, meaning that they're always up to date. You have machine learning built in, and you also get AI built in. So things to help you be even more productive and save you time. You also get Outlook Publisher and Access. Only on PC though, with Publish and Access. And now the differences starts up a bit. So the 365 Home is for 6 people. If you look at the 365 Business Premium and Personal, it's for 1 person. And with Business Premium, you get 5 PCs or Macs, 5 tablets, and 5 phones, and you get 1 TB of OneDrive for Business included also. All the way to the bottom is where it really stands out. So on Office 365 Business Premium, you get Outlook Customer Manager and Bookings included as business apps. I'll touch upon that very shortly. And you also get Teams, SharePoint, you get the business class email with 50 gigs of storage on your Outlook, and you get Exchange. So every email is, when you delete that on your phone, it's also gone from your PC. And you also get 1 year's domain included. So I mentioned some of the features up top. So let's talk a little bit more about the features that you get with Office 365 Business Premium. I mentioned this one before, but Outlook Customer Manager. What it is a simple app or part of Outlook where when you get an email, you can easily write notes and see your next tasks, your last meetings with the customer straight within Outlook without having to get out from your email into your calendar or visit another system or another program. It's really simple and it's very straightforward to use. You also get Microsoft Bookings. Microsoft Bookings is focused on customers or businesses that use a lot of bookings. So it could be like that, or appointments, sorry. So where their customers book appointments with them. It could be anything from a massage therapist, hairdresser, or just a repair shop where you have to book in advance to make sure that you have time to get your phone, PC, anything fixed. So this is built into Office as well without extra cost or extra payment for reminders sent to your customers. Really effective tool to work with. Then on a general, when we're talking about 365 features, we have PowerPoint Designer. A great tool built into PowerPoint, making you create stunning presentations with just simple clicks. This is where AI really comes in when we're talking about Office. So if you drag and drop a picture into your PowerPoint, PowerPoint will automatically start generating different setups and different looks on your presentations. So you don't have to be creative when starting your PowerPoint. Dragging the first picture you want, or the first, it could be an image of a product, or it could be an image, certain background that you want, and let PowerPoint do everything for you. Just make it really simple to make these great presentations. Then we've added OneDrive Personal Vault. It's an extra layer of security built into OneDrive. So easiest way to explain it is, well, if I take my phone, for example, and I unlock it and let another one have it to look at, like skip a song on Spotify or start up Spotify or something like that, well, they actually have full access to my full phone. So my OneDrive is open because it's been unlocked. So, and the same with my PC, even though I have Windows Hello, if it's unlocked, well, then anybody can actually go into your OneDrive. But with Personal Vault, you get this extra layer where if you activate Personal Vault, you still have to log in with, like on your phone, your Face ID or fingerprint reader, or Windows Hello, or your password on PC. So it's just this extra layer of the data that you really don't want other people to be looking at. Another feature is PC folder backup. Cool thing about Office is with OneDrive now, in the old days, when you had to store things to OneDrive, you actually had to physically move it, or not physically, but actively move it to your OneDrive folder. But the latest updates on OneDrive has actually done so that you can ask OneDrive to back up your full desktop, meaning that if you, like me, put all the things that you're working on your desktop, you'll always have a security backup of that. So this is a really cool feature for me, at least, and I hope for a lot of other people. Then we have PowerPoint live captioning. As you probably notice underneath, I'm talking English, you can see in Swedish underneath here. So this is just a feature that we have added, and we've had it for some time, but it's just getting better and better as we go. So this is all about making everyone even more included in your presentation. It's about reaching people at all levels, depending on it. Not everyone is great at understanding different languages, or maybe even following along. It might be easy to read while you listen. But there's just a lot of features right here. As of now, we don't have, for example, from Danish to Swedish, but that will be coming, as I've been told it should come later this year. So even Danish, Swedish, Finnish, Norwegian, all that should be added later this year. So let's move on to Office 2019, where we have two different SKUs you can sell. We have Office Home and Business and Home and Student. It kind of goes without saying that, of course, Home and Student is for consumer, and Home and Business is actually licensed for small businesses as well. Main differences, of course, with Home and Business, you also get Outlook, which you don't get in Home and Student. And as I mentioned, the business licensing is also quite important. So key features in Office 2019. I mentioned Tell Me earlier. It is a really important feature. It just helps no matter what you knew before about Office. It's super easy to use, as you see on your screen. You can just write, for example, column here, and then it gets right to where you want to go. And you can, it's so simple. As I mentioned, probably the feature I use most in Office without a question. Then we also have learning tools built in. We have learning tools within Windows, but we also have that in Office, of course. So what are learning tools? Well, we know that even more and more people are having some kind of learning disability. It could be dyslexia. They could have some kind of attention deficit order. It could be that they're just red-green colorblind. That actually makes a big difference on how you see different presentations or different things. Just jumping right back to learning tools, just so you know, and in Office we actually have a feature built in where you can check for accessibility. So let's say I'm creating a presentation and I want to make sure that the most people can actually read or understand what I'm trying to show. Well, you can get Office to check up for accessibility. Like you might need a different contrast, you might need to space it out even more. You might have to split those lines to make it easier for people to read. So it's not only for people that have issues, some kind of learning disability, it's also people just creating. So it's an extra tool to help you create something that's accessible for all. So looking at Office 2019 versus what we earlier had. Well, on Word, we tend to focus a lot on get work done easier, as it says. Well, it's because you have black theme, which is more calming for your eyes, so it's not as hard for you to look at, and you get more relaxed. You have speech to speak, like text to speech, as you see right now in PowerPoint, where I'm getting translated. You have improved inking functionality. So if you have a 2-in-1 with a pen, you can use the pen for editing your Word documents or deleting just by stroking right through your document. And on Excel, we get a lot of added perform better data analysis. It's just because we've added even more funnel charts, maps, timelines, etc. We have even better integration with Power BI. You want to pull your data into Power BI, it requires you to have an active Power BI subscription, but you can actually use BI charts straight in or create Power BI charts straight from Excel. And on PowerPoint, it's all about creating even more impactful content where you can get cool transitions, you get capabilities to making your presentations even more interactive. And of course, adding 3D models and having even better icons put in is a cool feature as well. And on Outlook, it's about managing your emails in more effective. So one of the great things is at least mentioned. So if I were to send an email to Alexander, for example, and I wanted him to, or Alexander and one of his colleagues, and I wanted Alexander to take action on something. If I just write at Alexander, then his email in his inbox would turn blue. So he knows that I have actually added a task for him. So it's just about being even more productive or seeing the emails that really matter and knowing that, okay, this is not just a read through, I actually have to take action on something in this one. We also have added focused inbox that we didn't have in the earlier version. So your inbox on Outlook, where you have your focused emails and your other cool things, for me at least, it may mean that in my other inbox, I get all my notifications from Teams or from Yammer or anything else, LinkedIn messages, it's put in there. And then all my colleagues and people that I talk with on a regular basis, they get into my focused inbox. So we know that it is the most important things that you see first. So looking at this one, there's a lot of features here, so don't concentrate too much on that. This is mostly to highlight for you guys that Office 2019 has a lot of new features, but with 365, you get all the features in Office 2019, but also get added even more features as you see on your right. Well, then who should get Office 2019? Well, the cool thing about Office 2019 is that it is still the latest version of Office with the latest features, as we've talked about. But not every customer is ready to go to a 365 subscription, and that's why we still have Office 2019 to support them. It could be that they are trying to do a hybrid where they need to have on-prem servers, but they're also trying to get to the cloud. Well, doing And they might have different reasons to it. It could be legacy equipment that they have that is just not ready for it. So we just have 2019 to support the customer no matter where they are, because not everyone is ready for the cloud, as I mentioned. I have some different tools, of course, that you can use when we're talking about 2019. How do you deploy these? Well, you have the option of volume licensing. So you have different ways of getting Office out there. So, and also you have Office deployment tools that also works on Office 2019. So if you're selling multiple Office or for a bigger company, but they have those requirements that they can't go cloud-based. 2019, use volume licensing or Office deployment tool. That will help you a lot with getting on with this one and selling a lot more Office, of course. So just to end this up, I just want to highlight a few things, because as you see, we have all these different ones. We have Office Home and Business 2019 and Office Professional 2019. Main difference is that in Office Professional 2019, you get publisher and access, unlike what you get in Home and Business. That is the only difference here. Then let's moving on. We have Office 365 Business Premium, where you could get it in two different versions. You could get it as FPP, that's a one-time purchase, or you could get it as CSP, where you get all these extra business apps, like I mentioned, Customer Manager bookings. You get OneDrive for Business, also on M365 Business. You also get that, of course, Skype for Business, Exchange, SharePoint, Teams, and Yammer. Of course, if you want even more security, you move on to Microsoft 365 Business, where you get this advanced security with where you can put up even more company policies on every device to make sure that all the data and everything that you have is being handled accordingly. And of course, you have device management included, so a business could upgrade all their devices from Windows 7, Windows 8 to Windows 10 without cost. It's a part of the subscription. One of the things that where they differ a bit, and looking at Office 365 Business Premium, you get technical support 24/7 the year of your subscription directly from Microsoft. So you can just call them at any time you want. With the Office 365 Business Premium CSP solution, this is handled by you guys, the partners that sell the subscription. Microsoft 365 Business is also 24/7 365 from Microsoft. And one of the things where the FPP SKU definitely stands out is that you get 1 year's domain included, where with the rest of them, that's something that you have or need to buy separately. Then again, FPP is with annual payment, so you buy it upfront and you have the next 12 months. For CSP, you can do that monthly, annually, and there's a lot more flexibility, of course. We can just add one user for could be 9 months where you have someone in there just to help you, so you can add it. It's very flexible. And again, with Microsoft 365 Business, it's again very flexible. So I would like to say thank you and end the recording. And then if you have any questions, I think that we will take the questions without recording, so we have that in place. I'll just stop recording and we will keep on chatting.